Okay. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. You. So last class we have done on the introduction part of the internal control system. Okay, where you learn the five control, the five control components, and then you have also limitation of the internal control system, and then you have the control objective and ICEQ. And the last part you have the communication with the management. Okay, communication with the management. Okay, by issuing the letter, the management letter or the letter on internal control. Okay, so this is the letter. Okay, example of the letter, where in the letter, okay, you have to follow the format. Okay, and then you should include the deficiency. Okay, first is the accounting period. You have to state what is the accounting period you audit. And then you identify the matters. Okay, and then you have to disclose the defalcation or the deficiencies. Okay, with the risk, the implication of the deficiencies and the recommendation. Okay, so this is only recall back what you have learned. Okay. So because today we are going to look at how you are evaluating the internal control system of the company. So first you must state what is, you have to identify the control activities, and then deficiencies is when the control activities is absent. Okay, then you have to when the control activities is absent, there is a potential of the risk of material misstatement. So we look at in terms of the implication. Okay, the implication that we are look into is only to the material item. Okay, the material misstatement where it affect the decision users of the financial statement in terms of the effectiveness of the internal control system. Okay, not the material amount yet, because we are not testing yet the substantive. Okay, the substantive part. Okay, so now today we, for the evaluation of the internal control, we are looking on the effective of the internal control system, and then you must give the recommendation. So that what we are going to look today. So because today we are moving to the the internal control evaluation procedure. Internal control evaluation. So means you have to perform the test of control. So now start from today onwards. Okay, we are going to perform the test. Okay, so which is include TOC and substantive test. So we call it, this is the application procedures. So this is why I said you must understand thoroughly what you have done in the previous chapter, section B, and the introduction part of section C. Okay, any question on that?
No.
Okay, so now we are going to look at the how you are going to conduct the test. Wait, I show you the share also the PowerPoint. Okay, so today we are going to look at today. Can you see the PowerPoint? Clear or not?
Yes.
Boleh? Okay. So today we look at to the what we are going to do. okay, today. So actually you are going to gather sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Okay, sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So means that you want to collect all the audit evidence by performing the test, and you kept all the result letter in the audit. Audit what? Where you kept all the result?
Audit documentation.
Audit documentation or audit working paper. Okay, good. Okay, so now the procedure for you to gather the audit evidence is performing the test of control and substantive test. So what is the purpose you perform the test of control? What is the purpose? Anyone still remember?
Test the operating effectiveness or internal control system.
Yes, Amni, come again.
To test the operating effectiveness of internal control system.
Okay, good. Okay, so first you have to know what is your purpose. Okay, so perform to perform the test of control. So to test the effectiveness, okay, of internal control system. Okay, so when you consider, okay, to perform the test of control, okay, when is it all the organization you will perform the internal control system? When you want to perform the internal control system, when you rely on the internal control system. Okay, when you rely on the internal control system of the company, so you can perform, you have to perform the test of control. Okay, if you not rely, you no need to perform the test of control. Okay, so that is the requirement, okay, under ISA. So you must rely first on the internal control system, because okay, you already determine it by issuing the LOE. Issuing the internal control questionnaire or internal control evaluation questionnaire. So this is how you understand, okay, the effectiveness, okay, of the system. Okay, so when you perform the test of control, then you know that the system is effective, and then you rely. So these are the procedure. So for the test of control, there's only 4 procedures: inquiry, inspection, observation, and re-performance. And when the internal control system, when you have test the internal control system, and then you might get a result whether the company have any deficiencies. Okay, and these deficiencies will result to the risk. Okay, risk of material misstatement. Okay, so this risk, okay, you should extend, okay, the test. Okay, so how you extend the test, you have to perform the substantive procedure. So you might perform the test of detail, okay, transaction and balances, and analytical procedures. So these are all the procedures applicable to the substantive procedure. Analytical procedure, confirmation, inquiry, inspection, observation, and recalculation. Re-performance no longer applicable to the substantive procedures. Okay, so only for 6 procedures, okay, applicable for the substantive procedures. Okay, so how you are going to rely on the internal control? So as I said just now, when you rely on the internal control, then you have to perform the test of control. So when you rely on the internal control, so means that you consider that the internal control system of the company operate effectively. How? Okay, when you see that the internal control system is properly designed, okay, the internal control system is exists and has operated throughout the period. So, okay, this one, okay, you can also perform the walk through test. Okay, so actually, when you want to understand the client's internal control system, okay, you have first to perform the walkthrough test, and second, when you rely that the system is exist, properly designed and operated throughout the period, then you perform the test of control. Okay, any question? Okay, so this is only the recap part, okay, from the previous class. Okay. So we continue today. Today's lesson is, okay, we are going to look at into the system itself, okay, the application part. So in our syllabus, okay, we are going to cover the test of control to the 2, 4, 6, 7 systems, 7 parts. Okay, so we are going to finish it in this week. Okay, so we have sales system, okay, purchase system, payroll, inventory system, okay, non-current asset, bank and cash, and non-current liabilities. So this knowledge, okay, you must bring it from your SQL information processing system, SQL. I hope you remember what you learned in the information processing system, okay, in your SQL. Okay, so we go one by one. So if you look at to the books also, okay, you have page 175, okay, where you have to know, okay, how the sales system, information processing is done. Okay, so the test of control of the sales system will be based around the selling, good outwards, and accounting. Okay, so that accounting is on recording and valuation. So if you look at to the book, okay, here. So this is the business process, okay, the business process of the sales system, okay, business process. Okay, every sales system should go this process. So to identify that the internal control system exists. So you have performed the test of walkthrough test, and that walkthrough test tell you that the sales system is exists, and the business process are as follows. So selling, okay, when you talk about selling process, so it must accompany with the control activity on authorization. Okay, when you have when the company have the goods outward, so means that delivering the goods, so it must look at on the custodian of the goods in terms of the inventory system. Okay, when they look at in terms of the payment, okay, so you have to look into how the recording and the valuation of the sales is made, okay, in the business, in the information processing system. Okay, you have to relate back what you have done in information processing system. Okay, and on top of that, you also must recall back what you have learned in for the control objective and control activities. Okay, control objective and control activities. Okay. So these features here is refer to the business process. The business process. Okay. So you have the process of ordering and granting of credit. So this is in terms of the authorization just now. Okay, ordering and granting of credit. So when the when customer order from the company, so the company must ensure that. So this is the objective. So what is the objective of the business process? To ensure that. So this is the internal control exists in the company. So the internal control that exists in the company will refer to the 5 control activities that you have learned before. Okay. So one of the control activities here is on the authorization. So this one. So goods and services are only supplied to customer with good credit rating. So how you are going to know whether the company supply the goods to the customer with a good credit rating? So they must look at they must check in terms of the credit ratings of the customer. So must have a proper authorization, proper approval. Okay, must have proper approval. Okay, and then customers pay promptly. So that is the signal for good credit rating based on the experience of the company. Others orders are recorded correctly and orders are fulfilled. So these are the features, okay, or the criteria, okay, for the features of a business process on ordering and granting the credit. And this is the objective. Not yet the control activities. So the objective. So as what we have discussed earlier, okay, you must set. Okay, you must look at what are the objective for each the control features, okay, or the business process, okay, is implemented in the company. And the second one is dispatch and invoice. So how the company dispatch their goods and how they invoice their goods. So dispatching and invoicing. So these are the two activities. Okay, 2 activities. So how you are going to look at whether the system, okay, or the business process here is effective. So you look at to the objective, okay, of the control. So all dispatches of goods are recorded. So it must be recorded. So if the goods, if they provide with the good dispatch note, okay, goods dispatch note, so it must be recorded. All goods and services are correctly invoiced. All invoices relate to the goods and services that have been supplied, and credit notes are only given to the valid reason. Okay, and it should be recorded. So that is how you look into the business process of the company, okay, and the objective of the process. Okay, and then recording, accounting, and credit control. So you have to ensure, so these are the process recording, how they record, okay, what are the accounting procedure and what are the credit control over the process. Okay, to ensure that all sales that have been invoiced are recorded in the general and receivable ledger. So that's why I said you must remember back what you learned in SQL. Okay, so when the company receive the invoice, okay, all sales that have been invoiced. Okay, so when the company issued the invoice, okay, how the invoice is issued and who approved the invoice, and how they record the invoice in the general and receivable ledger. Okay, and then credit notes. Okay, all credit notes that have been issued are recorded in the general and receivable ledger, and all entries in the receivable ledger are made to the correct receivable ledger accounts and cut off Okay, so cut-off test is applied correctly to the receivable ledger and potentially irrecoverable debt are identified. So who still remember what is the cut-off procedure? Anyone can share with me what is actually the cut-off procedure? It will appear in detail of it will appear in the substantive test, right? Okay, cut off. Substantive test, test of detailed transaction. Who still remember what is the purpose to perform that cut off test? Cut off applied correctly to the receivable ledger. Anyone?
Madam. Transaction recorded in the correct accounting period.
Yes, good. Transaction recorded at the correct accounting period. So that's why you have to look at whether the cut-off is applied correctly to the receivable ledger. Okay, receivable ledger is all the customer's account. So that is what you look into in the system. Okay. Okay, for this is the summary what you have done just now. So for the order placed, okay, this is the business process. Okay, when the order is placed, so what the company have to prepare. Okay, they must prepare the order form. Okay, and this order form must be pre-numbered. So this is another control activity that should exist. Okay, the order form must be pre-numbered and it should be documented. So documented means in a formal order form. Okay, if they receive the form, if the company receive the order from the phone or from the email or from the WhatsApp or whatever, they need to document the order. Okay, in terms of issuing the order form. Okay, and then when the order has been placed, okay, means that accept the order. So the goods should be dispatched. So dispatch of goods. So when the company dispatch the goods, so document required is goods dispatch note document. So this is what actually the company should do, and the dispatch note here should be come together with the person who deliver the goods, and the good dispatch notes should be kept after the dispatch goods has been done. So the good dispatch note should be acknowledged by signing by the customer and returned to the company. So that is one of the procedure. So acknowledgement is the acknowledgement of the GDN, good delivery note or good dispatch note by the customer. So means that customer should sign the goods, the good has been received, and the signed document of GDN will return to the office back. Okay, that acknowledge the company the good is actually received by them. Then when the GDN has been properly documented, and the company should issue the good invoice and recorded it. So have to issue the sales invoice to the customer, and when they issue the sales invoice, Okay, the sales invoice. Okay, the person who issue the sales invoice should match the item to the sales order and to the dispatch of goods. Okay, maybe when dispatch of goods received, okay, they have a certain thing happen, okay, during the receiving period, so they need to put in the dispatch note. Okay, and then that is how the sales invoice will be raised by the company, and the sales invoice must be properly authorized. Okay, properly authorized and sent to the customer. Okay, and when the sales invoice has invoice to the customer, then the customer will pay the amount. So it calls payment receipt. So it will involve the cash and bank, okay, transaction, and the customer, okay, should acknowledge the company by remittance advice. Okay, remittance advice. So customer, okay, deliver, okay, together with the payment, okay, with the remittance advice. So it should be recorded by the company. Okay. So any question on that? Okay, so this question, okay, is asking you what can go wrong at the following stages of the sales cycle. So first, okay, in this case, okay, when you want to evaluate in terms of the internal control system of the company, what should you do first? You have to identify the key control exists. Key control exists. So means the company, okay, must have all the control relating to the business process. Okay, when the key control does not exist, so you consider it as absence of key control. Okay, what should, how you are considering the absence of key control? So if let's say this one, okay, the company company receive an order from the customer. So and then the company, okay, this is actually what are the control should be exist. Okay, the order form should be pre-numbered, it should be documented, okay, it should be properly authorized, okay, when they want to check on the credit limit, when they give the credit limit to the customer. Okay, so that is, okay, the control exists. Okay, when the company, okay, does not follow the control that should exist, that is considered absence of the key control. So when they have the absence of the key control, let's say there is no segregation of duties, okay, or the order has not recorded, okay, or the order, okay, is not properly the key control. So this one, what can go wrong at the following stages of the sales cycle if when ordering by customer? So when ordering by the customer, okay, the key control just now, okay, the key control just now, the, okay, must be placed, okay, with the order form. Okay, signal of deficiencies. So if they have a deficiencies, this is a potential of material misstatement. So this one, orders may not be recorded. So if orders may not be fulfilled and good may